Hello everyone and welcome back to Love Online. I am Dr. Carla Dunbar. Today we're going to be talking about parenting. You can't have family without parenting, right? And so I would like to share a little bit of myself with you. So I'm going to talk about effective parenting and parenting burnout. But before I begin, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. I call this marriage evangelism, and this is how you can help me to save marriages globally. So go ahead, share. I know you know a few persons who could use it. Parents. We often take ourselves to the edge, the very, very edge, overly self-sacrificing and even neglecting ourselves in the execution of our parenting responsibilities. I have 4 and then some, so I know what I'm talking about. Many times we are disappointed at the outcome if it doesn't go or doesn't fit into our planned perspectives about parenting. And I want to remind us that God is not a grandfather. And so our children are not God's grandchildren. They are God's children. And He has a plan for them. And He also wants to teach them life lessons for their purposes and their destiny, even more than we do. But often He's not allowed to do so because we are always in the way. There's a 70-30 parenting rule which can guide us to ease perfectionism in us as parents. And it suggests that as parents, we aim to be loving and consistent 70% of the time, while allowing for the imperfection in the other 30%. It's about being good enough. No child believes that their parents are perfect. We're not. And it's not about being flawless. It's focusing on repair after mistakes to build secure attachment and not just perfect moments as we would want them to be. So the theory is rooted in the attachment theory. And this approach values showing up consistently, apologizing because we can do that too, and repairing ruptures over never messing up, or even promoting authenticity, and that which promotes less stress for us as parents. What makes parenting effective and helps to alleviate burnout as we strive as parenting? Make communication a priority. It's so important and cannot be overstated. We are living in a different era. And while I am not here promoting laissez-faire or permissive parenting styles, I believe that parents who reason with their children allows them to understand and to learn in a non-judgmental way. And those of you who have been following me a while would have heard me say that I didn't have a parenting model, and so I grew up my kids watching The Cosby Show. Seriously, I learned making my expectations very clear, right? If there's a problem, I describe it, I express my feelings, and I invite my child to work on a solution with me. And you can do the same. Just be sure to include the consequences for not being obedient. Children also want and deserve explanations. Now, whether we think so or not, because we probably grew up in the era of children must be seen and not heard, understand if you're always doing things the same way you've always been doing it, you're going to get the same results. So they deserve explanation, even as much as adults do. If we don't take the time to explain, then they will begin to wonder about our values and our motives and whether they have any basis. Parents who reason with their kids, you allow them to understand and to learn in a non-judgmental fashion and atmosphere. Make suggestions age appropriately, and then also offer choices. They can get choices. Be open to your child's suggestion as well. I tell people I can learn from a child. It is called negotiation. I have learned that children, even in ministry, who participate in decisions are more motivated to carry out those requests when they are made. Now, you want to be able to boost your child's self-esteem. Children start developing their sense of self as babies. And when they see themselves through the lens of their parents' eyes, then this happens. Your tone of voice, your body language, and your every expression are absorbed by your children. Your words and actions as a parent affects their development and their sense of self and their self-esteem more than anything else. So when we praise their accomplishments, however small it is, it will make them feel proud. And allowing your kids to do things independently, it teaches them autonomy. I believe it was Sigmund Freud who spoke about that autonomy. And so you give them that independence and it makes them feel capable and it helps them to feel strong. By contrast, when you belittle them or make comments or you compare one child with the other child, unfavorable with another child, it makes them feel worthless and they are invalidated. So avoid making loaded statements or using words as weapons. A lot of the times I see this happening. Choose your words carefully and be compassionate because they have a lot of things that they have to vie with as challenge. Let your children know that everyone makes mistake. They are not expected to be perfect and that you still love them despite the mistakes that they have made. Even when you don't love their behavior, let them know you love them. Then set limits. And be consistent with your discipline because discipline is necessary in every household. You have to have rules. That's how you know when they are broken. The goal of discipline is to help children to accept these rules and to choose acceptable behaviors and also to learn self-control. Every child may test the limits that you establish for them, but they need those limits to grow into becoming responsible adults, and that's what we need. When you establish house rules, it helps your children to understand your expectations and it also prevents and develops self-control. Now, you might want to have a system in place because it works. Yes, one warning followed by the consequences, such as nowadays we see timeouts or loss of privileges over what we consider now to be corporal punishment. A common mistake parents make is not following through with consequences. I'm going to spank you. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to discipline you, but you never do it. You can't discipline kids for talking back to you one day and ignore it the next day. Being consistent teaches what you expect. And social learning theorist Albert Bandura tells us that as human beings, we learn by association. So consistent discipline is taught over time and they will get it. Now parents, I know life is hard and I know you're busy, 2 and 3 jobs depending on where you are in the world. Make time for your kids. These days, it is increasingly hard for parents and children to get time together for even a family meal. That seems to be an outdated thing, let alone spending quality time together. But there is nothing children would like more than spending time with them, especially the smaller children. Now, if you do not formulate this in the early age, don't expect it to happen during adolescence and teenage years. It just won't happen because kids who are not getting the attention that they want from their parents, they often, especially the young one, they act out by misbehaving because they are sure to be noticed when they misbehave. Just look for ways to connect with your children sometimes. Teens seem to need less individual attention from parents. Now, we understand that because they are formulated friendships, so they have their peers and all of that. Because, there are fewer windows of opportunity for parents and teens to get together. So you have to be intentional. You have to do your best to be available when your teen expresses that they need to tell you something. And it's an important way for you to know about their friends and who they're spending time with. And don't feel guilty if you are a working parent, because it is the many little things you do that the children will remember. Also, be a good role model. We are mirrors parents. And if our mirrors are not clean, then children will always see a marred reflection of themselves. The younger they are, the more cues they are going to take from you as a parent. So before you lash out or you blow up in front of your child, think about this. Is this how you want your child to behave when they also become angry? Be aware that you are constantly being watched by your children. And studies have also shown that children who hit usually have a role model for aggression at home. Children not only live what they learn, they learn what they live. And so you have to model those traits. Outside there in the world, the society that you live in is a prototype of the home in the society. Okay? So remember, keep your mirrors clean. Model the traits that you wish to see in your children. The traits of respect and friendliness, honesty, kindness, tolerance. This exhibits unselfish behavior in them. Do things for other people without expecting a reward and allow them to see that. Express gratitude. Yes, I learned that gratitude is the gateway. And offer compliments. It's so important. And above all, just treat your children the way that you expect other people to treat you. Show that love is unconditional. As a parent, you are responsible for correcting and for guiding your children. You're like shepherds. But how you express your corrective guidance makes all the difference in how your child receives that correction. When you have to confront your child, avoid blaming, avoid criticizing or fault finding, which it hurts their self-esteem and it can lead to them becoming resentful as children. So instead, try to nurture and to encourage. Even when you're disciplining your children, make sure that they know that although you want and expect better next time around, your love is present for them no matter what they do. Know your own needs as well, parents. This is so important. You have to know what your needs are as a parent. Know what your limitations are as a parent. You have to face it. You are an imperfect parent. You are. You have strengths. You have weaknesses. And as a leader of the family, you have to allow them to know that you know this. Recognize your abilities. What is it that you're good at? I am a loving and dedicated parent. Vow to work on your weaknesses, right? So yes, I need to be more consistent with the discipline, or try to have a realistic expectation for yourself and for your spouse and for your children. You don't have to have all the answers. Be forgiving of yourselves when you make mistakes. I have heard so many parents now at the point where they are hearing even from their adult children, I didn't tell you to make the sacrifices that you made. So think about yourself and try to make parenting a manageable job. Focus on the areas that need the most attention rather than trying to address everything all together, all at once. You're not a super mom or a super dad. Admit it when you are burnt out and take time out from parenting to do things that will make you happy. When you focus on your own needs, it doesn't make you selfish. You're not selfish. It simply means you care enough about your own well-being, which is another important value that you can also model for your children. As a parent, you really just need to accept that you'll have good days and you'll have bad days with your children and in your responsibility as a parent. There are times when the bad ones will pile up and the good ones will seem very, very distant as a memory. But instead of joy and fulfillment, sometimes from parenting, you feel irritated and stressed and the aching monotony of doing the same thing over and over again. The breakfast, the lunch, the dinner, the packing, the lunch bag, the doing the laundry, the cleaning the house. Know that you're supposed to feel joy, and that will only make the hopelessness better. Okay, the day-to-day stress at work, I know that also can be a thing. Your marriage that you also have to sustain, and sometimes, especially for wives, I know sometimes you feel like you have the 3 children and then the hubby who is also a child. And I know that raising children can build such a degree that you feel depleted and inadequate and emotionally detached. You have to tap into that, because parenting burnout is very real. And this is how you can recognize burnout signs and measures that you can take to avoid it. If you're consistently tired I don't need to tell you that you need to take your supplements. But if you're consistently tired and you're unable to connect with your child on an emotional level and you snap at them for the least thing, you constantly feel stressed out, you feel like you have no time for yourself, you feel like you have no energy left to give anyone, and you feel like you're failing as a parent, you feel overwhelmed by the amount of work that you have to do both outside and inside, and you feel like everything is just too much. You are being hard on the children and like nothing you do is good enough. Then you are at that point for parenting burnout. It can happen to anyone at any time, and there are a lot of contributing factors that can each lead to this condition. Like when you do not make time for yourself and you feel like you can't find the time, you have to make it. It has to be an intentional effort. When you have no time for yourself, it's going to cause you definitely to feel stressed out and overwhelmed. When you have no support, if you have nobody to talk to, you can't get advice when you need it the most. You might feel stuck in a situation too that you might need help for, and it's not happening. You have to seek it. If you're lacking in sleep, that is also going to be a problem, because the only cure for sleep is sleep. And when you're not sleeping, you're going to be tired easily. And this can cause a lot of issues in your day-to-day life. And then you're going to feel like there's no energy left. Yes? There's just too much on your plate. So if you feel like you have too much on your plate and you're at risk for parental burnout, you have to stop. You have to stop and you have to take stock. Because preventing parental burnout is much easier than recovering from it. And so if you're unable to avoid reaching this critical point, then you'll be able to get out of it much quicker. So just prioritize your needs in your life. You need to make a list. Yes, sit down with your sticky notepads or your nice journal. I have a nice one right here that I use for myself. This. Yes, it and this, they go together, right? So if you can do that for yourself, cut out the excess. You need to cut out the excess in your life. And this can include anything from extracurricular activities to social owning. You just need to be strict with how many things you can handle. Set aside some time for yourself. If it's even an hour in a day, you need to do that. You need to set aside that time, whether it's a bath at the end of the day or just a quick reading session that can help you to just calm yourself before bed. And you just need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You can also journal too. Write about your day. You understand? It's important. These are those core principles. Good enough is enough. Good enough is enough. You don't need to be perfect. Your child needs a present, loving, good enough parent, not a flawless parent. Love and love consistency. Remember, 70%, because the bulk of parenting should focus on providing a stable, loving environment with routines and connection. And then there's imperfection and repair. Remember the 30%? Yes, it's okay to be tired. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to make mistakes. What matters is noticing, apologizing, and repairing the relationship with your children or your spouse afterward. I hope this helped you. It helped me, and I have 4 of my own and those that I've adopted, not to mention my 10 beautiful grandchildren. So I trust you can be an effective parent and that you can avoid burnt out, because at my age, you want to be able to look this good. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, Psalm 23 and verses 5, neither you nor your marriage is meant to just survive. You're meant for thriving and overflowing. So I pray your marriage will be impacted positively. Now for more of this, register at the gym, the Grow Your Marriage Academy. There are courses for husbands, yes, loving your wife in a Christ-centered way. Courses for wives, how to speak so your husband will listen. Courses that husbands and wife can take together. The marriage maintenance or the sexual proficiency. And if you're single, there's one for you too, the marriage readiness intelligence. And more on parenting, there's a course on parenting. And if you're a seasoned couple, why not pour some of yourself into another younger couple so that their marriage can enjoy longevity? We have a marriage coaching certification course, which is just right for you. Connect with us at Carla Dunbar Ministries. God bless you. Until next time, love online.